I run the NMR facility at Bristol, working in chemical NMR. So we primarily use NMR spectroscopy to look at the structure of chemicals and looking at reactions of chemicals. So we use it for both structural and reaction monitoring type purposes. We have an enormous range of chemical NMR problems to solve. So we need flexibility from our systems. They need to be able to solve a lot of different problems. We need them to be very reliable. We've got 250 chemists who are using NMR spectroscopy every day, and we can't have systems down, so we need them up, running fast, running reliably, and running as many different types of experiments under different conditions as we can get. So we have 12 NMR systems at Bristol, ranging from 300 to 700 megahertz. And we use those for everything from standard single one-dimensional NMR experiments, proton, carbon, boron, phosphorus, fluorine, every nucleus you can imagine, through to highly complex multi-dimensional methods applied to organometallic compounds, standard organic compounds, biological systems, protein NMR spectroscopy. We cover the whole range. We actually have NMR instruments from all three vendors, only two of those now in existence. And yeah, we have JEOL systems at 300 and 400 megahertz. We use them for two main applications. One is high throughput, open access walk-up use, and there we want the students to be able to spend the minimum amount of time in front of an NMR instrument so that they can put their sample on, run it, and get back to doing their chemistry. And so the instrument has to do everything for them. We want it to load the sample, lock the sample, shim the sample, tune it, do everything without them needing to be there, and so that they can get as much out of their chemistry as possible rather than worrying about running NMR spectra. And the other thing that we use our JEOL systems for is manual operation, where the student needs to put their sample into the instrument and then play with it, do stuff to it, add things to it, heat it, cool it. So we do a lot of variable temperature NMR, both low temperature and high temperature. We do a lot of reaction monitoring. Enormous numbers of reactions run inside the NMR magnet in the tube. And for that, you need to have an instrument that's robust, it's got temperature stability, so that when you put it in and run a reaction in the NMR spectrometer, you get as close to the results as you would get if you were running in a chemistry laboratory. When we chose our JEOL systems, we were very much focused on the open access instruments. Those are what we were replacing at the time. And what we wanted was systems which we knew were going to be reliable and maintained and robust for years and years. And our experience with JEOL in the past, and that's come through since we had the new systems installed, has always been that we've got reliable operation out of them. We can do everything that we want to do with them. They're very flexible. We can set them up to run a large range of experiments. The students can use those very easily, so when we're training hundreds of users, we don't want to spend hours and hours teaching them how to do stuff, so they can learn in a very short space of time how to run the systems and run the experiments that they need. When we first had the systems installed, we had user training. So we had quite a lot of experience with JEOL systems in the past. What we didn't have was experience with the latest software, the latest hardware, new things that we could do with it, new ideas, and so we got that both through Welwyn Garden City's centre and also on-site training, hands-on training to show us what we could do, how we could do it, to customise the system so that it does what we wanted it to do. And then since then we've had, well, excellent service, to be honest. The engineers have always been available to us to give us advice on what we can do, and also to help us when we can't do it ourselves and to fix and address problems for us. And similarly with the product support in terms of answering questions on different experiments that we might try or different ways we might set up our software. We've had excellent feedback from that throughout. For me, one of the big key differences is in software between NMR vendors. Because our chemists are not NMR spectroscopists, they're not specialists, so we want software that's very easy to use, very simple and very straightforward. And so when it comes to automation, the Brooker Icon NMR system has simplified the operation for our users quite substantially. On the other hand, the JEOL Delta systems, the software development over the last couple of years is heading in exactly that direction. And so we're actually looking to buy a new system in the next few months, and so I'm rather excited to see what's coming through there. So one of the things we did when we looked at this a couple of years ago was to explain what we needed and to say what we thought should be in the software systems. and we got a very good response from that. A lot of that's already been built in. We've got new experiments, we've got new software interfaces that addressed exactly what we wanted, and hopefully that'll come forward. So dealing with JEOL for me has been it's been a pleasure. They have very, very solid systems, very good NMR spectroscopy capabilities that do exactly what we need. The people involved have always been very responsive, very agreeable, and we've never had any trouble at all getting hold of them and getting them to do what we need them to do to keep going.
And confident enough to do more business with them in the future?
Absolutely, absolutely, yes. Yeah, I'd work with them every day. Yeah.